Another video for you with new stories from Ethiopia and Somalia. First news stories from Jubaland state of Somalia, where 7 Ethiopian nationals have been arrested. Jubaland security officials have confirmed the arrest of 7 Ethiopian nationals. Why were they arrested there? Second news story is from Bahir Dar, Gajjam, where Gajjam was the center of security forces operation against Fano militia, which started more than a month ago. Today, in an attack, 5 security officials have been wounded and killed in Bahir Dar. What happened there? Was there a clash between Fano and security officials in Bahir Dar? A third news story is about another grant for Ethiopian government. This is the third grant for Ethiopian government by World Bank in recent months. Fourthly, we have a new story from a place which is on Oromia-Amhara border, North Shua Zone, Dera, Wareda. Here, reportedly, several vehicles and trucks have been abducted in Dera, Wareda along Dera Addis Ababa main road. And lastly, viewers, Jaal Marroo, Komsa Dereba, head of Oromo Liberation Army, was interviewed by BBC a few hours ago after Valaga incident. What did he say? BBC asked several questions like what is the objective of OLA struggle? How many fighters does OLA have? And why did OLA attack Gimbi, Dambidolo and Gambala? What did Jaal Marroo say? We'll have a look at all his answers. Our first news story is from Somalia. We know that armed groups are operating in Somalia. Government forces, federal forces, regional forces are trying to contain these armed groups. US has also deployed its special forces in Somalia after the election of Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. US redeployed its special forces to Somalia to contain these armed groups. We know that Al-Shabaab is the largest armed group in Somalia, in control of around 1/3 of Somalia. It is administering entire cities, so it's a state within state in Somalia, you can say. ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, is another group, small group. It's mainly based in Puntland region. It's based in Puntland's mountainous areas. And today, 7 Ethiopian nationals were arrested in Puntland. Puntland security forces have shared the names of these 7 Ethiopian nationals. The security forces of Puntland say that these Ethiopian nationals are members of ISIS, small group based in Puntland, and they are working for ISIS. They were arrested while they were delivering some military supplies to ISIS members in Galgala mountains of Puntland. These 7 Ethiopian nationals are from Oromo ethnic group. Their names have been shared by Puntland as well. No statement from Ethiopian government so far. Now, this area where the 7 Ethiopian nationals were arrested is not close to Ethiopia-Somalia border. They were arrested in Zafan area. You can see Zafan on this map. Zaafan is far away from Ethiopia-Somalia border. This group is not operating close to Ethiopia-Somalia border. It's far away from this border. It's in eastern part of Puntland state. And here these 7 Ethiopian nationals have been arrested. No confirmation from Ethiopian government so far. It seems that these 7 Ethiopian nationals are not migrants. They seem to be members of ISIS, but we're waiting for some statement from Ethiopian government as well. Update you after the position if taken by Ethiopian government. Second news story is from Bahir Dar, Gajam zone of Amhara region. More than a month ago, federal and regional forces launched an operation to contain those Fano factions which are not under the control of government forces in the Amhara region. And Gajam was the center of these operations. Masri Shah's house, Zameen Akasi's house were surrounded by security forces. Both could not be arrested, but several other Fano members were arrested. Some were killed as well. We saw clashes between Fano members and government forces in several parts of Gajam. And still there is deployment of ENDF and regional forces in parts of Gajam. Reportedly today at Mashanti Killa, which seemed to be a checkpost, I think, of Bahir Dar city. Here 5 security officials were injured or killed in a shootout. Ethiopian security forces, Ethiopian federal government, regional government, they have not shared any statement so far. But according to locals, there was a shootout at Mishanti Killa and security officials were injured. Some say that some were killed as well on the spot, and others were taken to a hospital. Who is behind this attack? Was there some confrontation between Fano fighters and security officials, or security officials were ambushed by Fano fighters? It's not clear because government is silent. But the incident could be linked to ongoing operation against Fano. We have seen clashes between Fano and government forces in several parts of Gajam zone in recent days. Third news story is about another grant for Ethiopian government from World Bank. Third grant for the government. A few weeks ago, World Bank announced a first grant of $300 million for Ethiopian government. Tigrayan diaspora community protested in the US against the announcement of this grant for Ethiopian government, but World Bank pressed ahead with this grant to Ethiopian government. Then last week, World Bank announced another grant of $405 million for COVID-19 vaccines and for spending in health sector of Ethiopia. Now a third grant, because today Ethiopian Finance Minister Ahmed Shide signed a virtual agreement with some World Bank officials, and 715 million financial agreement has been signed between Ethiopian government and World Bank. Ethiopia will receive $315 million as grant. It will not be returned, and 400 million credit. So in total, $715 million. It seems it's very much clear that World Bank, backed by US, is supporting Ethiopian government. US-Ethiopia relations are improving. After the announcement of humanitarian truce in March, we're seeing that US has adopted carrot and stick policy. It is offering incentives, it is giving financial aid to Ethiopian government. At the same time, it wants government to move towards peaceful solution to Tigray conflict, towards start of talks, towards unfettered humanitarian aid delivery to Tigray. So far, policy is working, though speed is slow, but we know that in Tigray, delivery of aid has increased. Hundreds of trucks are arriving in Tigray. Tigray government acknowledges this significant increase. Tigray government's complaint is about restrictions on fuel supplies. Aid is arriving in Tigray. Fuel supplies could improve as well. It seems that US policy is working. EU is just considering what to do. EU has not resumed financial aid to Ethiopia. IMF has not announced any new grants or loans to Ethiopian government. And we know that EU is pressing Ethiopian government to do more. EU said there is progress, but the government needs to do more. Janis Lenarčič, EU commissioner, was in Ethiopia 2 days ago. He visited Tigray as well, and he urged Ethiopian government to do more, that there should be restoration of basic services in Tigray first. There should be more supplies of fuel to Tigray. So EU is reluctant to resume financial aid to Ethiopia, but World Bank, backed by the US and US government, both are supplying Ethiopian government with loans and grants. Fourthly, viewers, we have a new story from a Wareda on Oromia-Amhara border. The Wareda is situated in North Shore zone of Oromia region, and there have been complaints in recent weeks that there is presence of Oromo Liberation Army in this Wareda, and OLA members are involved in attacks on vehicles which travel along the road in this Wareda. Name of the Wareda is Dera Wareda. It is in North Shore zone of Oromia region. A main road links Dera with Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa, Dera, Amhara region road is a main road. The road has been closed for months due to attacks on vehicles which move along this road. Now, according to some locals of Dera Wareda, some vehicles have been abducted in Dera Wareda. Reportedly, 4 public transport vehicles and 1 truck have been abducted. Passengers, drivers abducted too. Some managed to escape. Who broke this news that some vehicles had been abducted in Dera Wareda? This is not the first time that we have seen such incident happen in Dera. Amhara regional government groups based in the region, they have been complaining that OLA was operating in Dera. OLA was allowed to operate in Dera. That is why main road linking Dera with Addis Ababa, Dera, Amhara was closed, because Oromo regional government was not interested in clearing the area of Oromo Liberation Army. No statement from Oromia government so far. OLA is silent as well, but locals say that some vehicles and some people have been abducted in Dera Wareda. In coming videos, we'll try to update you about OLA's position regarding the attack on these vehicles and abduction of vehicles in Dera Wareda. Lastly, viewers, Jaal Marroo Kumsa Dereba, commander of Oromo Liberation Army, was interviewed by the BBC. Some tough questions were asked about the struggle, the objective of the struggle, attacks in Gimbi, Dembidolo. What did Jaal Marroo say? Firstly, the first question was about attacks which happened in recent days in Gimbi, Dembidolo and Gambela. What was the purpose of these attacks? OLA entered these towns, OLA retreated. It happened in Gambela. OLA and GLF both launched joint operation, then they retreated. So what were the objectives if OLA did not remain in control of these places? Jaal Marroo says that the purpose of these attacks, these operations in Gimbi, Dembidolo and Gambela was to tell the people that OLA can enter wherever it want to, because government forces, government officials have been saying that OLA was no more. It was not in any town or village of Oromia. OLA had been considerably weakened. So OLA carried out these attacks just to tell the world, the people of Oromia, that it is there. And government's claims are false. I think that is what I have been reporting, that government's claims do not match with on the ground situation. Secondly, he was asked a question about number of OLA fighters. How many fighters does OLA have? He did not give the exact number. He said OLA has lots of fighters who can protect the people of Oromia, but no numbers mentioned by Jaal Marroo. Thirdly, very important question. He was asked a question about the objectives of his struggle. What is the aim of OLA's armed struggle? Is OLA fighting for an independent Oromia Republic, or is it fighting for an independent regional state which is part of Ethiopia? Jaal Marroo said, first objective of the struggle of OLA is to liberate the people of Oromia. That the people of Oromia should not be under any political or military pressure. And once the people are out of the pressure, then they can make a decision. If people decide to form a republic, OLA will back struggle for an independent Oromia country. And if people decide to remain part of Ethiopia, then OLA will back people's choice. So OLA seems to be saying that their struggle is for liberation of the people of Oromia, Oromo people, who are not free to exercise their right of self-determination, which is enshrined in Ethiopian constitution. He was asked a question about talks. Will OLA be part of talks if OLA is offered that it should be part of talks? He said, yes, OLA is ready to hold talks only with the participation of international observers. So OLA does not want direct talks with Ethiopian government, though I have received some exclusive information about engagements, dialogue between OLA and government. Perhaps tomorrow I'll try to brief you in detail about talks between OLA and government officials. Lastly, a question about contacts between OLA and other groups like TPLF, like Gambela, People's Liberation Front and other groups. He confirmed that OLA was in touch with other players, other groups in Ethiopia, and Gambela fighters, OLA, they had been operating in collaboration, and other groups were also in contact with Oromo Liberation Army. So this interview once again confirms that OLA is still a force to reckon with in Oromia. Recent operation could not weaken OLA. OLA has proven that it can hit wherever it wants to hit in Oromia region. Now you see that Jaal Marroo, Komsa Dera is accessible to BBC. BBC can contact Jaal Marroo and interview him. That shows that where OLA is, it has managed to stay in touch with international media, though there is communication blackout in parts of Valaga, which is OLA's stronghold. But it seems that OLA is in control of territories there as well, which is not accepted by the government. Government claims OLA is on the run. But if OLA is in touch with international media and it is regularly sharing updates about on the ground situation, it means that OLA's strongholds are still under the control of OLA. OLA has not been considerably weakened in Oromia. Thank you for watching.